Impossible.
This is paint by numbers podcasting, okay? So let's just go ahead.
Right. So, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is, and wherever you are listening. Join with me as always, Mr. Chris Cute.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. And Jamie Page.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
One of them weeks.
All right, am you?
All right.
Mini Noodle does that. She'll come down at because it's just been like school half term. Do you have half term breaks in the US, Chris, in schooling?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, they're not called. Well, it's actually Easter break, but it's half term basically.
Yes, no. So we'll have like the Easter holidays, the Christmas holidays, and then the summer holidays, like big long several weeks.
Yeah.
Then they have what they call half term, which is like a week off in the middle. So say between Christmas and Easter, that's the term. They'll have a week off in the middle, and they call it half term.
No, we
basically
don't have that.
So I did wonder. Anyway, it's been half term, just gone. So of course, consequently, no school, even though there's or no Zoom lessons, should I say? So Mini Noodle's been getting up at like 3 PM, and she'll just come down all blurry-eyed and just go, "Hi, hello," and that'll be the only thing she'll say all day. So yeah.
Just come down and eat a bowl of Captain Crunch at 3:00 in the afternoon. And
Basically, yeah.
It's her breakfast, right? I got it.
Terry's chocolate orange and
I've lived that life, and so have you. So don't disparage the young lady. She's just doing what you did before you.
No, absolutely, 100%. But we both know, Chris, that the grown-ups that were grown-ups when we were doing that would rip us for it. So it's only when she's a grown-up, she'll rip the
No.
See,
but you could stop that circle and just accept it and move on. But you don't.
How's that fair?
Well, it doesn't. Life isn't fair, Mr. Morley. Let me explain something to you. Give the girl a pass. I go, hey, cheerio.
Trust me, I worked that one out. Anyway, as always, tonight's show is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grit, the Woodturners Abrasive Paste, our good friend Chad at Mancrafting, Pam from Highland Boxes, and also Steve Neelan, should I say, at Harneal Media, who does all their website-y stuff. If you want to check out anything to do with our sponsors, I honestly, I suggest you do, because they are all awesome people and they are brilliant at what they do. Head on over to the makesinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors, and all the information is on there. Jamie used to take credit for it, but sorry, it's Steve that does it all, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Did we find out what that shop thing was, Jamie?
Yes, we did. So basically what it was Steve said ignore it. It was just an update, and the updates started sending out emails. It's been there right from the start. The update just sent out emails on its own.
So we've ignored it, and there's no reason to shop with us online, even though today's topic is online shopping.
Online shopping.
We have nothing to sell you online.
We're great at online shopping. We've got a shop, but
we're selling ourselves.
We're the masters. We're going to tell you how to make millions of dollars today. No.
Yeah, by not spending your money online with us. Save it.
Do you do? And actually, for the listeners that are listening live, this is a good opportunity for you to get involved tonight if you're listening live. And by that I mean, I don't think we've got enough topic to last the hour. But yeah, what I really mean is then get involved, because I genuinely think there's going to be some cracking story. I've got some funny stories of stuff that's bought online. I'm sure Jamie will have, because of his game of what rubbish is Wish trying to sell me today. So I'm assuming that the live listeners are going to jump in with some funny stories as well. But Chris, you were saying that you've got loads of Amazon boxes that are basically taking up your workshop at the moment. Is that right?
Oh my God! Not only Amazon, I mean from all over the place. Because well, here's the deal. I mean, I don't know how it's affected anybody else, but when somebody tells you can't go anywhere and you can't go out and do things anymore, the first instinct, and my wife shares this unfortunately with me, is the first thing you do is you rebel against that and go, well, that's the first thing I'm going to freaking do. But even though but we're adults now, so we don't actually do that. But what it does inspire is a lot of time on your hands. And so it's easier to do online browsing. And if you ever do online browsing in the shopping network, shopping mode. I shouldn't say network because that actually is the thing. If you ever do online browsing and you're in the shopping mode, all of a sudden you find all these things that you didn't know you needed, but now you do. Okay, so things have begun to, things get purchased online just to kill time, and these aren't expensive items. I mean, these are 15, 20, maybe at the most $50 items, but
they're the dangerous ones though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, because they accumulate. It's like, and so
you remember spending $5,000 on a sofa, but you don't remember spending $5,001.
It's like, it's just one of those things. I don't know if anybody else has gone through this and has since this whole pandemic and the restrictions it's placed upon us have happened, but it's just, I guess it's just a way it's a release to go out and kind of and do some buying of something, whatever it is. And so, yeah, I'm dealing with, I've got actually off camera here, you can't even see it, stacked up against the wall. I've got cardboard boxes, and out in my shop is another pile of cardboard boxes. That's just because, things get purchased now online as opposed to a day in the park or a trip to the beach or whatever the case may be, or a jaunt out to go skiing or something. It's how you kill time and kind of make yourself happy. So that's the online buying we're talking about. But today I was thinking more along the lines of, and I was hoping other people could relate to that, because if you can't relate to it, then this is obviously just my problem and I need to go to a doctor. So, but if it's not, then fine. But I was more interested in talking about where other people do their online shopping. Since, I think most of us have probably kicked up our online purchasing a little bit, at least, since this whole thing went down. And if so, where do you go, and what are you getting? And have you shopped around? Do you surf the web now like you would do window shopping? Like, okay, this costs this much here. I saw it and only cost that much over at that store, so I'll go to that store to buy that. Rather than doing the actual physical going around, do you do the online shopping? And if you do, is there a place that you find is cheaper, or is it just a matter of doing the online shopping? Because there are a number of, let's be honest, there's a number of vendors out there that we all visit all the time to go do some kind of shopping. And we can get into that later, but that's basically what the gist of what this thing is going to come, where I wanted to kick it off at today, Richard.
Well, I certainly can't be the only one that's played What Crap Can I Buy from Wish?
Do you know what, Jamie? For anyone listening that doesn't know what Jamie's talking about, the website Wish, this is particularly bad with Facebook, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is.
As if you needed another reason to hate Facebook. But the cat is always constantly getting adverts from Wish of the just most random things. Just think of the most random thing you possibly can, and there'd be an advert on Facebook from Wish trying to sell you it. And she's constantly sending me these screenshots. And I think it all started with you, Jamie. That you sent one to Kat, and now Kat sends them to me. Every couple of days I get this, I don't know, I'm just trying to, like a jam jar, battery-powered jam jar stirrer. Or
no,
what?
A battery-powered cork puller for wine bottles.
They're the sane ones. Honestly, Chris, these are just they're mental. They're absolutely. I'm trying to think of one that I'm sure just all this noise that I'm making in front of the Siri, I'm going to end up with 50 of these blooming things, but they're constantly turning up. But in fact, actually, Chris, what I'll be trying to do is find the shout out for this week, which I won't say now, but it is relevant about something like, how do I might as well say it. It's a Tom Scott video, the things you might not know guy. And he's talking about ads and the rules, what you have to say on YouTube and what you have to say on telly, and now they're different rules and all the rest of it. But there was a line in there he was saying that something between, I think it was like 1 and 7,000 adverts a day people are subjected to. It was just an insanely high number that I went, what? That can't be possible.
Depending on how fixed you are to either a radio or a television, then yes, I can see that. But if you're not one of those people that is plugged in, 24/7, then no, you're not going to get that many, And that's known as in the industry, it's known as hits. how many people you have hit with that ad. And then they have a whole equation breakdown as to how many hits actually equal sales, and it's gotten to the point where it's down to is it justifying the advertising purchase, because these companies have to buy the advertising space to get X amount of hits, and they get X amount of sales from those hits, and the money they made from those hits now has to get transposed into, does that profit equal the cost that we put into advertising to get that money? So they're trying to figure out down to the last penny whether it's worth advertising.
So I've just flicked screens. I'm in my Facebook news feed now, and I haven't come across a single. I've got probably scrolled through about 15 different posts.
Right.
And they are, I mean, I'm going to count them as ads because it's a post from the company about their products that they're trying to sell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then there's me, 7, a post that I made, 8. There isn't a single post in my newsfeed. This is my own personal newsfeed from, Janet Smith going and just bought broccoli, LOL. Nothing like that. They're all adverts from business networks, from woodworking company. It's just insane that people are trying to just basically put their hand in your pocket all the flipping time. No wonder you've got so many boxes. I mean, do you buy a lot of stuff on the internet generally? Has it gone up since you weren't allowed to go out?
Me?
Did you used to come home weekly from the shops with like a boot trunk full of stuff?
No. I quit shopping brick and mortar malls and things unless I actually needed something that was a particular store. Then I would have to go and buy it, because it was obviously easier for me to get in my car and drive down to the street and pick it up and bring it home than it was to order it and wait 7 to 10 days. I've all my online shopping for the past 20 years has had to do with my shop. If it had to do with a tool or something, now obviously if my local big box store carried it, I would just go get it. But if they didn't carry it, then I would order it online. So most of that stuff I would buy online. So no, my online shopping has definitely gone up since this has happened. I mean, and because I would be remiss if I didn't say that I'm half of this equation that is my husband and my wife, and half of those boxes out there are probably mine that I have purchased. So I'm not trying to blame it all on her. I'm just saying we both have the same problem since this is taking care of ourselves. But no, I mean, normally I would go down, like, for instance, I'll tell you, I spent almost $500 on a very large KitchenAid mixer for my kitchen, because I've never had one, and I've always wanted one. And it was just one of those days where I, got the bug, and I was doing some shopping, and I found the lowest price, and I was like, and you bite your fingernail, and you go, and then you, and then you go, oh hell, I'm doing it, and I bought it. Okay, and so that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I'm just like, but that was a rather large expense. I mean, people don't drop 500 pounds or dollars, on just anything. It's like, you got to kind of actually want what it is, but it's kind of easy to blow 10 or 20 on something. That's not that difficult, because you can live with that. I mean, 500 is tends to be an ouch a little bit, maybe, or, it's like, it's one of those. So yeah, I've done that. I've done a fair amount of that kind of stuff since this thing has gone down.
I mean, I honestly, I don't know about you, Jamie, but I don't think I can't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling to think. I don't think I have. I don't think I've spent more. I mean, I've probably spent more, but that's because, bit like you, Chris, it's all kind of shop/work related. I don't buy socks online.
No, I don't.
I mean, I don't know. You might be able to relate to this. I've never been a big go to the shopping centre and buy clothes. I hate buying clothes. I put it off as long as possible. Yeah. I literally, I'll go and spend 300 quid on Levi's, but buy 6 pairs at a time, and then not buy any for the next 10 years. Literally, I bought 4 pairs of Levi's when we were in the States because I knew it was going to be cheap, and the time before that was like 8 years prior.
I did that.
I hate buying clothes.
I tell you when that can get you into trouble, though, Richard, and be careful of this. I know you're not quite there yet, but when you get into your mid-40s You're going to want to break that cycle because all of a sudden things start developing around the old midsection of the male body, and the 10 pair you'll find out within a year no longer fit. And so you really need to buy them, a couple pair at a time at the most, and then. So I have a stack of Levi's I could show you that I once wore 10 years ago that there's no way I'm getting into today.
Luckily, he's with someone that's handy with a needle and a thread.
Yeah,
well, but not only that, she's pretty handy in the kitchen as well. So that's sort of a double-edged sword, isn't it?
You're going to put a little stretchy stuff in the back of a pair of Levi's? Okay. Good luck looking cool in my neighborhood.
Do you not put like an elastic band in the buttonhole and then wrap it around the button? It works. It does. Seriously, you just don't have because I'm a t-shirt tucked in or tucked out.
Oh my god, you guys are killing me.
You can sew 2 pairs together when you get to my size.
We're so the epitome of geeky cool. It's like you guys are
geeky anyway. That's half right. But no, honestly, I only wear Levi's. If I wear jeans, then I'll only wear Levi's, and I've been able to get in the same size for like the last. My computer's going to die unless I plug it in.
Well, enjoy that while you can, Mr. Morley, because I'm telling you, things change. Whether you want them to or not, the things change.
I actually have a pair of Ray Gun jeans that I bought in 1996, and they still fit.
24 years old.
Seriously, without
25, 25 years later, they still fit.
They're threadbare, but they still fit, and I do still occasionally wear them. Not like out in public, but around the house. Yeah,
I haven't had that feeling in 20 years.
I think they might be on their last, lock-ins, as it were.
If you seriously have to inhale and then seriously suck in the gut, and you can barely make the buttonhole, then it's it. Yeah. And then when you sit down, it's like, and just going, I hope these things stretch. I hope these stretch. I hope these stretch.
I'm kind of a creature of habit. I mean, one of the things that I, apart from the jeans, I wear the same workwear trousers because I'm tall and skinny, and the company that I use, which sounds like a chocolate bar name, they do really long legs and really slim waist, so I can literally get a pair that's too skinny for me and too long in the leg, which normally for trousers, if anyone out there is the same build as me, is completely the opposite way around. So I tend to buy those 3 or 4 pairs at a time, and actually I was like, oh, these are maybe did I get the right, should I have got the next size up? And I'm just at that sort of teetering edge now, thinking, well, maybe I need to they'll be all right. No, they'll be good in the summer. They'll be all right in the summer because
those ooze come a lot more often the older you get. Trust me, they do.
Yeah, but I mean they'll last like 3-4 years, those trousers. But
we've got some questions if you guys want to head into this. As
always, Chris, there are many questions.
And we're not going to answer the ones Richard's thinking of. But we're going to head down this rabbit hole real quick, and I want to thank Emma, Mama Dragatails, Emma Marie, for asking us a few. The first question she has is, and Emma, I don't know, this is kind of a hard question to answer. Best buys, worst buys, and Emma, I'm just going to kind of skim over this one myself and just kind of say it depends on what you're looking for, and I don't know. That's not really. I mean, if you're looking for best buy source as opposed to the worst buy source, I might be able to help you out. But if you're talking about what's best to buy and what's worst to buy, it really depends on what you want. I mean, I don't know, Jamie, Richard.
So
go.
I can answer that from my perspective, and it's exactly the same answer. A fire extinguisher.
It's the worst buy because if you need it, something's gone seriously wrong.
The reason for it is a great idea because if your workshop catches fire, you've got something there to rescue you. Especially now, I've got all the electricals and a heater in the workshop and all that kind of stuff. The reason it's a bad buy is I keep thinking I've jinxed myself. I've never had a fire yet, but now I've started doing stupid stuff like ring a fire and like turn the lathe on with fire in. I mean, I ain't gonna worry. I've got a fire extinguisher in here now.
I was just gonna say, if you've got that kind of like invincibility complex,
it's kind of like I feel like I've got a saw stop. You know?
Oh, it's
I don't care now.
You've got that confidence that you probably shouldn't have.
Yeah. Makes it even worse. So I've got a first aid kit in here as well. I've never hurt myself in a workshop before. You can bet your life I'm going to cut myself on a scroll saw now.
Have you?
Richard, do you want to chime in on that?
Well, I kind of, I don't know if it's the same as Jamie. I sort of interpreted it as what's the sort of the best thing you've bought on the internet. You saw it and were like, oh, I'll like take a punt on it, and it was awesome. Or you took a punt on it and went, oh my god, what a waste.
So I've actually got a funny Wish story about that.
I bet you have. Come on then, Jamie. Come on then.
Where else but Wish would you get that?
So,
exactly.
As you do, you're browsing through Wish, right? And all of a sudden I see a drill bit set, like 200 drill bits,
oh,
right? For a couple of dollars.
They're made out of aluminum.
And I'm thinking, how bad can they be? You might as well give them a go, right? Right. So all of a sudden they turn up. Me expecting them to be like a normal size. It looked like it come in a big box. So the picture was very, very deceiving. Right. All of a sudden they turn up in like a little bag. Right. I've actually, where is it? I've got one here. I literally got 200 of these drill bits.
Like the little teeny ones for drilling
the little
PCBs
teeny ones. And I'm like, my first reaction is, what the am I going to do with them? Right? And then all of a sudden I realised I do scroll sawing. They're
scroll
perfect.
Scroll saw holes for days. Yeah, you got your life covered right now.
I've never got to buy another drill bit again. Until I realised I struggled to drill through 3 layers of 4mm ply or 3mm ply. Actually broke.
Oh my life.
Yeah.
Are you still getting through that birch ply, are you?
Yeah. No, I've used that ages ago.
Oh. All right, Rich, you got a best buy or a worst buy in that context?
I'm trying to think. This is one of those weird things. I can't think of a best buy because you just buy it. It's good. It's what you wanted, what you expected. It doesn't register as being a great
buy,
thing,
right?
But I bought some. I won't say the company. It doesn't really matter what the company was, but anyone listening to this podcast will know the company I'm talking about. A set of like wireless Bluetooth headphones.
Okay.
Which was supposed to have a really good noise reduction number for workshops. They're specifically for workshops and noisy areas and things like that.
They have noise cancelling.
Because normally, I've got my whatever brand, I don't even know what, I think they're Skull Candy headphones, like DJ type headphones on at the moment. But normally I have like the 3M big ear defender earmuffs in the workshop. But this was right in summertime and it was getting a bit hot and sweaty, and I get like sweaty ears. So I wanted some in the ear ones. But I also wanted to listen to music. So I got these. There's really big, really popular woodworking maker YouTubers that have endorsed these products loads of times. And I was like, brilliant. And I just saw, I think it was almost a bit like Wish. It came up on I think it was a Father's Day offer. If you bought one version, you got like another one of their versions for free. Okay. And they're just, I hate them. And I'm not gonna say that the product is rubbish, because I know PPE is a really personal thing. Yeah. And some people like masks or goggles or ears or whatever. It's a really personal thing. But I absolutely hate them. They just drive me mad. They're either they connect or they disconnect or they just beep, or you can actually. I was using them in the summer, listening to like a podcast, and I turn on a one of those oscillating multi-tools. Mm-hmm. You know, the ones that sound like a electric ear cleaner. It would just go, and I wouldn't be able to hear the podcast at all. It would just completely deafen them out. And when I contacted the company, their advice was, have you tried using them with quieter tools? I was like, I'm sorry, did I just have I got these things in? Did I just hear you correctly? But I mean, they're all right as basically as headphones, but then I could have just used my AirPods or
They weren't
skull
exactly
candies or whatever.
They weren't exactly noise canceling.
No, and I find them quite uncomfortable for long periods of time as well. But again, that's what I mean. It's a personal thing. The clue is in the name.
All right, she's got one more. She's got one more. Buying abroad, worth the expense?
Jamie, you buy abroad quite a bit, don't you?
I
Wish?
bought stuff not only from Wish, but I've actually bought stuff while I've been over in the States as well. There are benefits, but there are also downsides. So I've actually bought electrical items whilst over in the States, and obviously the downside to that is the plugs. So that's only really the downside. If you can get away with buying an electrical item where it doesn't really need an
adapter,
a plug to plug, but if it's got a USB on it, then you're loving life. Because obviously it's things over in the States are a hell of a lot cheaper than over here. So I also bought a set of, speaking of Bluetooth headsets, I bought a pair of 3M work tunes over in the States, and they were like $60, I want to say, something like that. Over here, they were like 3 times the price. You know, so I went over there, got someone to pick me up a set. I gave them the money and just put them in my bag on the way back. You know,
I've done that before. I've bought stuff. When the first time, when we both went to the States on the same day.
Yeah, we met up at the airport. Yeah,
and so on that trip, we went to Disney and we had a day out, and my day out was we'd go to Home Depot because I'd never been to a Home Depot before. For anyone in the UK that's never been to Home Depot, just like go to B&Q in the summer. It's basically the same but bigger.
Yeah.
And they got. I found one of the Bessie fabric. What are they with the fabric straps called? Band clamp. They were really good. So I got this from Home Depot in the States. Came to fly back, and I couldn't get it in the suitcase, so it went in my hand luggage. You've never seen such a confused look from the TSA guy as like, what the hell is this guy's got? And I had to stand there for about 5 minutes explaining to this guy that it wasn't some kind of weird restraint thing. And he was like, talking to like.
Hey, that happened to me, and I live in the States. I went through TSA with a a steel rod that you used to sharpen a card scraper with. It's just it's a wooden handle with just it's a steel rod on the end of it, and they went berserk when I went through TSA with that thing. It's like, what is this? You should it's just sharpen card scrapers on. I mean, it doesn't even have a point in it. I couldn't stab anybody if I wanted to. And if I hit you over the head with it, it would just piss you off. So what? Well, don't do it again. I was like, all right, whatever. All right. Well, anyway, Andy Pugh has questions, and Andy, I got to give you some love, man. But we haven't thanked Andy enough. I don't think Andy has asked us questions for I can't imagine the last several years.
Long time.
Andy has asked us questions every day, and so Andy, I want to tell you something. Next time we meet, your beverage of choice, I don't care, Dom Perignon to Long Island iced tea, whatever it is, my friend, that you would like, because we'd like to pay you back. I'll tell you this right now: it's on Jamie, and he'd be happy to take care of it for you. So
I think Andy's a Pimm's kind of man.
Well, there you go.
So pineapple at Wimbledon.
Andy, when we meet up again, Jamie will hook you up.
Cheers, Chris.
Hey, just trying to help, man. I want to show some of my appreciation. If I don't put you two together, it'll never happen. Andy Pugh has a question. Has anybody made use of the extra cardboard that they obviously that we've already discussed about finding in our living spaces? Have you put it to any use in your making? And if so, what did you make? And if you haven't, could you? What ideas?
So the only thing that I've ever really made use of it for is for like protecting my lathe when I'm doing painting or stuff like that. That's all I've ever really used it for. That's about it, really. I've never really used it in making. I know who was it? I think it was Ken Moon. I think he cast some cardboard in resin and then turned a bowl out of it more recently. So that's an idea for somebody.
I actually have. I've got a piece here.
Look at that.
Just randomly. This is a piece of 2mm corrugated white and brown IKEA cardboard, and the only reason I kept it was because it's clean. You know, normally it's got like horrible folds in it, or it's got like parcel tape stuck to it, or it's torn, or whatever. But that basically was like a nice clean piece, almost as if you bought it specifically from the shop. And the reason I kept that was I want to try cutting out with a laser some stencils and templates and patterns for some projects. So that's the reason I kept that. But I know a guy at the Makespace who basically keeps the thicker, like proper packing boxes like that.
Yeah.
1/4-inch thick corrugated cardboard that you could basically build a house out of. He does the same thing. It was actually him that kind of gave me the idea of laser cutting it, because obviously it's cheaper than ply and quicker. He makes like 3-dimensional figurines out of stacked cardboard. So like how a 3D printer will take a 3D model and then it will slice it into layers, and then it will print each layer to get the 3D model. He basically uses the same technique with a laser to then cut out layers for these 3-dimensional objects. So he has got like stags' heads on the wall, but they're made out of cardboard, and he's got a Yoda.
Oh, right.
No, it's some pretty cool stuff. So it was that I saw that gave me the idea for cutting out like templates to use for patterns for router templates. So yeah, from that point, and also I use it for packaging. If I'm sending stuff out to a client, which doesn't happen very often. Actually, Kat uses it more often than that. I'll do that. But also cutting templates for, I don't know, like an alcove shelf, like a floating shelf in an alcove that's got weird shaped walls. I'll use bits of cardboard and hot glue it and tape it all together to get the shape, to then go and cut the material to fit in the space, because it's just easier than trying to scribe everything on 3 dimensions, and all the rest is quicker and easier and less thinking. So that's that idea.
I think Steve Nealon out in the chat says he actually uses cardboard for test images on his laser. Yeah,
it's exactly the same process, because it's cheap and it's so much easier to recycle as well. And I think actually for me personally, I'm guilty of kind of overlooking that source. But I don't really get that much decent cardboard to use for stuff like that. But if I've got like something in mind, I tend to like stick it back occasionally.
The most creative I've been, and trust me, this is not creative, is I made smaller boxes out of the big boxes I have. You take a piece of cardboard and you cut it into the shape that they normally would make a box out of, and you make a smaller box to mail something. And then I had to do that, recently, because I didn't have the right size box for the item that I wanted. So I used the cardboard I had on hand to cut a smaller box. It's just giving the same cardboard a second use before it goes to the recycle plant. And I do that as often as I can. What about shop organization, guys? I mean, can you think of anything to do with all that extra cardboard laying around? That good ideas for that, other than just putting things in a box and stacking it up? I mean, I guess you could hot glue a lot of if you want to divide up your screws or your nails, and you had that kind of organization where you wanted to, you could obviously hot glue a box together real quick, and then or just have the box and cut it at an angle and hot glue little separators in place, and then separate your screws and things that way, and it, that would last. But I mean, have you guys used that? Because I haven't done that.
Not so much for shop organization, but actually only last week I fitted a new loft ladder hatch, make the hatch bigger, and a big folding ladder to access it and all the rest of it. And of course the actual ladder, it's an aluminium ladder. It comes with all bolts to put the aluminium safety stops and catches and handrails and all sorts of like plastic brackets to attach round tubes to the side of it. You just get the a bag of nuts and bolts, basically. So I used part of the cardboard box, and I just basically stab the bolts through just a scrap piece of cardboard, because they're easier. You can sort of sort all the same length and same type together.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, if you empty the bag and you stab them all in the same bit of card, you've only got to look on that one piece of card to find if you've lost a bit, or if it's not, something like that.
Gotcha.
I've seen people do that.
You actually had a good idea that you could use them as spray booths.
That was exactly what I was just going to say. I've used that technique before, or a similar sort of thing for spraying bits. Not so much screws, but last year when I was doing the sash windows, they've got these little metal brackets that go on the underside of the sashes, which connect to the spiral counterbalances. Yeah. So you just poke a little hook through a bit of cardboard and then hang the hook bracket on that, and then you can spray them for that.
Well, as a spray booth, that makes sense if you get a big enough box, or depending on what size project. Then that makes sense too. If you don't want spray all over your shop, that makes a lot of sense.
Paint the inside of it white, put a light inside of it. You got a light box.
My answer to this is real quick. What about the polystyrene packing chips? You got any good use for those? My answer, Andy, is
put them down a toilet.
Yeah, my answer is yes. Use them to repack other stuff in. Other than that, I have found no use for the popcorns or the little eggshell polystyrene chips that they use to pack stuff in. I just think that that's all they're really good for. But I'm not as creative as others, so go right ahead, boys. Go right ahead. You got anything that's useful for otherwise than making your campfires a little more colorful?
I've got quite a funny story actually with those. It wasn't sort of a recycling project. Many years ago, my the younger of my two older brothers was in the Air Force at RAF Halton near Aylesbury, which is now where, if you join the Air Force today, it's where you go to do your basic recruit training. But back in those days, it wasn't. It was just where he happened to be posted. And so he'd have been, crikey, how old would he have been? Maybe early mid-20s. And one of his mates that lived in the block had got a car, and they used to be able to basically get allocated a garage, a brick garage, to put your car in. But the garages were only just big enough to get the car in. Literally like the width of a car plus about maybe 8 inches. So you had to park it slightly over to one side, so there was enough room to get the door. They were really tight spaces. And his mate got posted for 6 months away from Halton to RAF Mount Pleasant down in the Falklands. So he put his little car in this garage while he went away, and he gave my brother the keys and said, can you get it out once a week and just run it around the camp just to keep it so it doesn't seize up? Yeah, no problem. So the week before he was due back, he'd been dutifully taking his car out and running it and all the rest of it. Parked it up in the garage, and I would have been kind of in my very early teens. We went to basically see him at camp one weekend.
Does this get back to the polystyrene?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
okay,
trust me, it'll be worth it. So picture the scene. The guy's been away for 6 months. He's about to come back. His little car is parked in this garage that you can barely get in the car to get the go. We filled his car with these polystyrene things through the sunroof in the garage. So he gets back, and literally from floor to ceiling, this car's filled up with polystyrene stuff. And it took him about 2 days to basically bail his car out with a waste paper bin and get rid of all these things before he could drag his car out the garage to fully empty it.
I don't know.
Was it the bigger ones or the little balls?
It was like the little S-shaped ones.
I don't know if that's actually the use Andy was looking for, but okay. I mean,
seriously, if you've got the patience to save up enough, that is an awesome thing to do with them.
Online shopping. This is more of a general question. Has the disruption to the postal services made a difference?
I would say yes.
So where you might ordinarily want to do online shopping, but have decided to go ahead and brave it and go out into the elements and just go do your normal shopping, because of the postal service delays, or because I think the UK, I think both the UK and the US has experienced postal service disruption during this time. And believe it or not, it's because people are doing a lot of online shopping. So has it made a difference?
Yeah, I think it has. I mean, over in the UK, I've had something for Richard sitting here for ages, and he still hasn't left my house.
Oh, yes, I know what he's talking about now. But I genuinely think there's a bit of a dark side to this. I think the postal, like the courier firms, like USPS, Royal Mail, FedEx, UPS,
Whatever.
Whoever. I think it's kind of, I don't want to say boom time, but I think it's been busy. I've seen a lot of adverts for like taking on extra staff and agencies, things like that. But I genuinely think there's a dark side to this, because have any of you just had parcels randomly left at your door?
No, I haven't.
Yes, I have.
Maybe it's just the UK. Maybe it's like just an attitude thing.
No,
or
I doubt it.
Work ethic thing.
Seriously doubt it. I just haven't haven't gotten it myself personally.
So I mean, I guess it depends on where you live as well. But to my knowledge, we haven't had any like porch pirates or anything like that. But there's just been maybe 1 in 3 parcels have just been dumped. Not the ones that have been kind of a card or will come back or it's with your neighbour. Not those ones. And not even the ones where they just go, we've put it in the brown bin with all your garden waste rotting for the last 3 months, so we didn't have to come back. They'll do that as well. Yeah. Or they'll chuck like parcels come in these like grey plastic bags with an address label on them. They throw it. They throw it in the recycling green bin with all the other brown and grey plastic bags. Like, anyway, but they're literally just stuff abandoned on the doorstep.
Yeah.
Not like, and we haven't got like a massive long drive. We're not like a straight on the street. But I've been walking up and down. You see stuff just like sticking out of letterboxes, like obvious Amazon deliveries, just poking out somebody's letterbox. And I'm sure the amount of stuff that's just walked out off people's doorsteps or never got delivered, but even the stuff that has been delivered, has been abandoned, but has still made it to the destination safely, I think there's a lot of stuff that's been, we never saw that, and you can't prove it because it was just, and I think that's going to have a knock-on effect that we're going to see for the next couple of years.
Well, it depends on how rampant that is, and I would hope that most people would be honest and not do it. I thought you meant like, have I ever received a package that wasn't addressed to me? And the answer, no, I've never received a package that wasn't for me. It's not like I received, Bill and Julie's whatever package from whatever place they ordered it from on my doorstep. I've never had that happen. Everything that comes in my house has been mine, and I've never missed a package because I keep track of them. Trust me, because I'm a skint. If I order something, I track that thing, and I want to know when it's there, and I watch it. And if they say it's here and it's not here, I automatically take action. But I mean, it's just because I watch my purchases. Maybe other people don't. I don't know. I do. Which is the way I am.
Because over here, I think all they've got to do now is just take a picture of the parcel outside the front door, and they're good to go. You don't necessarily have to actually receive it.
It's pretty much what they do here too. It's like, because Amazon does that sometimes, and also get that from other places will do that as well. And I think UPS here in the States is famous for taking pictures and showing it that this is where it was left and leaving it for you, which is a nice little service to have. But the United States Postal Service certainly doesn't do that. They don't take pictures of packages delivered.
I had this just before Christmas, actually. There was I happened to be here, and I normally I'm out the back like working, but I just happened to be in the kitchen, and there was a clear line of sight all the way to the front window, and there was a knock on the door. I wasn't expecting anything, but somebody else obviously was. And this old girl, I don't know what delivery company it was, there was just a knock on the door. And I mean, Jamie will tell you, it's only like 15 metres for me to walk
it's not,
to
not
the
far.
door to answer it. And I got there, there's nobody at all, but just a parcel in the door, like literally in the doorway. and about 20 yards down the road, like twice as far as I've had to walk to get to the front door, there's a girl getting in a van. So I was like, and I confronted her. I said, are you just going to leave that there? Like, you didn't know I was there. You didn't know. And she goes, I saw you. I was like, okay, yeah, she might have saw me. I said, okay, so where was I? Well, I didn't actually see you. But I knew there was somebody in. I was like, no, you didn't. You had no idea that it was anyone. You've just left my parcel on the doorstep for anybody to take. I was like, you're responsible. You're paid to be responsible for this, to ensure that it arrives at its destination. And I kind of got the hump with it, not just because she couldn't be bothered to basically wait about 5 seconds for me to go, yeah, cool, thanks very much, cheers, have a good Christmas, bye. She just basically dumped and run, and then had the cheek to barefaced lie to me and go, oh no, I knew you. Oh, well, I didn't know you were there, but just the mind boggles that people are like that, and it just kind of, that's my little rant over anyway. Do you not get the same? Do you not get the same?
Yeah. It's almost as bad as throwing a package over the side gate.
Oh, yeah, that's happened several times. I had a 3D printer, as you probably know, launched over the gate. Ben's had a few things launched over as well.
There you go.
You're just late. I want. They have those like safety nets at the theme parks where if you've got a big ride, they have like these.
If he does the loop, you want something to catch you.
Yeah, basically, in case somebody gets launched out of the ride and you just happen to be walking like between in the walkway, nobody lands on your head. And literally, I want to put one of those up above the gate, so if anybody tries to launch anything over, it just bounces back in their face, because it is so frustrating. Because what they don't realise is there's something on the other side that means you can't get to the item without having to climb over the fence and open it all. It just does my head in.
Yeah.
All right, last question. What? And I'm going to divide this up into sections here. Andy's last question is Amazon king? And my answer to that, Andy, is it really depends. Because my shopping, like I mentioned earlier, most of it is done for my shop prior to, and so no, Amazon was never king for that. I mean, I shopped at Klingspor, which, by the way, in case I don't know if that's you guys are aware that Klingspor is in the UK, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's in I think it's in Nottinghamshire or something like that. Anyway, so there's online ordering from Klingspor that you can get in the UK. Home Depot, Lowe's, Rockler, Woodcraft, those kind of places like that would mostly was where I bought from. But when you start to get more on the domestic side, then you start talking about the Walmarts and the Amazons and the Targets and things of that nature. So I don't know that Amazon is king. Amazon has a lot of services that others don't have, like free shipping if you're a Prime member, and if you are a Prime member, they also have you can watch videos on this. So it's a really nice service to have. So I mean, Amazon is king in a way, but for online shopping, for me, I don't think Amazon is actually king. Now, for a lot of people, it is, but for me, it's currently not, because most of what I buy, because I don't do a lot of my domestic. I don't do the domestic shopping. Other than the freaking mixer I bought for my kitchen, that's definitely domestic. But for my shop, no. I mean, Amazon is not king, but I mean, other than that, then I think anybody who doesn't have a screw is going to say, as far as online shopping goes, I think Amazon probably is king. I mean, because they do own, they've pretty much owned the business at this point in time, and the others are just playing catch up.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, and I don't want to sound like one of these kind of eco/moralistic, environmentally warrior type people, because that's totally not the case. But I've almost always found that Amazon is only better when it's something that Amazon's selling.
Yeah, is Amazon choice?
Well, Richard, of course.
No. Hear me out. So I can go on to Amazon and sell. Like, I've got my mug in my hand. I can go and sell my mugs via Amazon as me, and basically all Amazon is the middleman. So what happens is I raise my prices because I've got to make up what Amazon's cut is going to be for them,
right?
You know, so actually for you as the end purchaser, Amazon's a complete rip-off. Aside from the fact that the prices seem to go up and down on bloody Amazon more than they do on Wall Street from one day to the next. Have you ever seen that? You go and look. Oh, I want to buy a new sander. Oh, it's $32 today. I'll put it in my basket. I'll get it when I'm paid. And you go, oh, it's $37 now. Is it right? And there are websites that literally track the price up and down, like the flipping Dow Jones.
Yeah.
Like, how? This thing costs this much. I'll buy it. Anyway, that's something else. But if it comes actually through Amazon, if it's distributed, you know, if that physical item is sat in Amazon's warehouse, then generally it's fairly robust. So if there's a problem, you've got somebody to go back to.
Right.
They're literally, and this is what puts me off Amazon, is there is literally, if you go on to, I think they're Instagram accounts, like get free stuff on Amazon Instagram account. And the person will go, oh, we've got these things. You go and buy this useless bit of tat that you can get on Wish for twice the price. Buy it on Amazon, then through this link that we'll send you for this product, then
do people still buy into that kind of crap?
Yeah, totally. And what they do is they're basically giving you free stuff for Amazon reviews. So you go, oh yeah, the thing was great and it was wonderful and I love it and here's a picture of it. Here's a 5-star review, and then wait 5 days and they refund you the money. So for me personally, there's zero trust ever on Amazon because
as far as the reviews go. As far as it's like we talked about this before. We talked about this before. Exactly. So what I tend to do is if I'll buy stuff on the internet that I kind of know. I'll buy like, I don't know, a Makita sander or a Festool saw or a DeWalt drill or whatever it is, you know, a proper branded thing that I kind of know and trust from the manufacturer, and I'll buy it from a specialist tool company. And even your, I don't know, like FFX in the UK, it might be Craftsman, Sears or whoever or Harbour Freight in the US, you buy it direct from them and it costs £100, but they've got eBay accounts, they've got Amazon accounts, and they're all like 10% more if you buy the same thing from the same company just through Amazon and eBay. And that's what does my head in about the whole thing. It's like, it's more expensive. When it gets here, it gets thrown over your fence or dumped on your drive or just abandoned at some random person's house. Yet, for some reason, everyone loves to shop there. I don't get why it's the case. No, it's like brainwashed. Because I don't think everybody's had that bad experience that you're explaining right now.
But I'm pretty sure everyone knows that the problem's there.
I kind of know what you're talking about. I just haven't personally experienced it. Because when I do online shopping, I shop around, and if the cheapest price is Amazon, and if I can get it from Amazon in 2 days without a charge for shipping, as opposed to the other guy who's going to be 5 to 7 days and it's going to cost me $20 more in shipping, then Amazon is the cheapest price, and I'm going to buy it from them. So I mean,
that's probably where they've got their advantage. Is some places they'll deliver the same day, won't they?
Well, if you can, not same day, but it'd be overnight. You can get an overnight shipment. I mean, I don't think they do same day.
I'm sure. I don't live if you live
I do not
like
live close.
Let's put this.
I'm sure there are places, but I don't live close enough to one of Amazon's hubs in order to get a truck from them to me in a day.
Sure, but if let's say if you lived in San Francisco or Los Angeles or a big US city,
or New York City, then you could get it probably. If you ordered it in the morning, you could probably have it by late afternoon. Yes, you could do that. But
I think that's where
I don't want things delivered to me at day's end. I want them delivered. I want them ready to be used at day's beginning. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what's the point? I mean, it's like I have no use for that. What about you, Jamie? You got anything real quick? I mean, is Amazon king? I mean, or where do you shopping real quick? We got to move on.
I'll be honest, I kind of do a lot of shopping on Amazon. If I can, I'll try and get some stuff from different makers' affiliate stores. I mean, it doesn't cost me any extra. It helps the other maker out. So yeah, I kind of do a lot of shopping on Amazon. If there's no other option, then I have to go elsewhere.
Mhm.
But a lot of stuff does, come from Amazon.
I agree. I think a lot of people would agree with you as well. Anyway, I mean, online shopping, guys. I mean, that's just become a way of life for a lot of us. And, I don't know that it's not going to end anytime soon. I know that there are a lot of, without any references to my age, I know there are a lot of stores that are now going under that had they had the foresight that Amazon once did, they would be thriving businesses today, but then they didn't. And so, and one in particular is Sears and Roebuck here in the States, because Sears used to put out they were hugely popular in the States. They had put out the wish book.
Massive catalog, didn't they?
The Sears wish book. They carried free. And their slogan used to be Sears has everything. And they failed to convert that into an online store. And they're now sucking wind because of it. Because Sears could have been Amazon before Amazon was Amazon, and they didn't have the foresight.
Brickhouse Craftworks is, I think, got a very, very valid point here. He said the theory is Amazon, basically what they've done is they've reshaped what we now consider to be an acceptable delivery time. When it used to be kind of 5 to 7 days, now it's like next day or the day after. I had a really good. This is a really good. It wasn't an Amazon thing.
Quickly, Richard.
I bought some new seat covers for my van, and I'd never heard of this company on Friday morning. Friday afternoon, I was chatting to a friend who just got some. I was like, they're really good quality. I'm going to get some for my van. And I did, and I ordered them at like 4 o'clock Friday afternoon, and they were with me by lunchtime the next day on a Saturday delivery.
Nice.
That was wow.
Nice. All right, boys. Let's wrap this thing up. Jamie, you got some singing to do today, or do you got nothing?
I do.
Then go at it, brother.
It's time for Jamie's page.
Yay!
Right. So this time there's some big news. So Miss April Wilkerson, or Wilkadoos, as she likes to call herself, has some big news. She's on a TV show with Mr. Tim Allen and Mr. Richard Kahn. She's on a TV show called Assembly Required, which will air on February the 23rd on the History Channel at 9 p.m. Central Time. She's basically the expert of the show, and it's kind of a look behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. If you go to her channel, she's got a video out about it, about all the information you need to know about it all. So obviously she can explain it a lot better than what I can.
Oh, that's awesome! Congratulations, April.
So there's that. Also, Caitlin the Cat has moved her premiere to 11:30. And on the note of premieres, my one is in exactly 30 minutes. So there's that. On to my shout out. So my shout out goes to KRT Wood, all one word. What he made a serving dish out of a piece of wood that he got from Matt Cremona, which Matt called Goofy Thing. He basically hand carved a massive chunk of wood with a hole in it and had a bit of resin and all that kind of stuff. It turned out really, really nice. So KRT Wood.
Awesome. I saw that video. It was actually really cool. Richard, you got one?
I do. I'm just about to send you the link, but my shout out, as I said earlier, is from Tom Scott, and the video is called "YouTubers Have to Declare Ads. Why Doesn't Anyone Else?" And like I said, it goes through the rules and the kind of all the kind of governing bodies and stuff like that. It's quite a long video, but it's really, really interesting, just like most of the things that Tom puts out. So it talks about a few things that we mentioned this evening.
Awesome. My shout out today, and guys, I know it's not really YouTube maker related things, but if I have to boil down the most awesome thing I saw online this week, it has to be NASA and the landing of the Perseverance rover on Mars. That was probably the coolest thing. That was probably the coolest thing I saw all this week. And I was hanging out with a group of guys, Dale HB Spoke, a bunch of other guys. We watched the thing land. We didn't actually watch it. We were there when they knew it landed. So it was kind of fun. That was kind of cool, and that was the most impressive thing I saw this week. So there you go.
Very cool.
Richard?
I guess it's down to me. Chris is giving me like, shut up, get on with it. So thank you for listening. If you are still listening, if you're not, then we will say what we like about you. Until next week when we talk about something else, you all have a great time. Cheers.
Have a great week, everybody. Cheers.
Have a week.